Skinny Hard Always 7T. Back with another EP. And y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. I don't know if you're here for a good time or a long time, but if you could, do your boy a favor. Smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Today I'm here with an MMA Southern T. This past weekend, we just had a pretty huge weekend in MMA. We had the retirement of Nate Diaz. We had Khamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland. We also had Khamzat missing weight, which caused a huge mix-up, right? Which landed Leach, which landed I think his first name is blowing me right now. But Lynn Leach, I think his name is Lynn Leach. His first name is Lynn Leach. Ended up fighting Daniel Rodriguez. So we coming off a huge weekend, you know what I mean? Khamzat looked he looked impressive, right? He dominated Kevin Holland in a bit of a lackluster fight, but Khamzat Chimaev, you know what I mean, he did dominate that fight. So kudos to Khamzat Chimaev. Shortly thereafter the fight, you know what I mean, shortly thereafter the fight, attention quickly turned to who Khamzat Chimaev would be fighting next. And as you could guess, right, the first name that came up, as always, was good, Carl. The first name that came up, as always, is Colby Covington. You know what I mean? Khamzat Chimaev looked great in his fight this week. But the usual suspects, right? The usual suspects, again, the same usual suspect, again, you know, name came up in Colby Covington. Colby Covington, so you can put a face with a name, Colby Covington, nickname Chaos, 17 wins, 3 losses, 34 years old, 5'11", 170 pounds. His last fight was against Jorge Masvidal, in which he won a unanimous decision. Before that, he fought Kamaru Usman. He ended up losing a unanimous decision to Kamaru Usman. You know what I mean? And before that, he beat Tyrone Woodley, TKO stoppage over Tyrone Woodley. And before that, another loss to Kamaru Usman. So Colby Covington has only really, you know, in recent history, right, took losses to Kamaru Usman, and ain't no shame in that. You know what I mean? Colby Covington is looked at as, you know what, the best test right now to defeat, you know, the hot Khamzat Chimaev. Again, like I stated earlier, Khamzat Chimaev, you know, was victorious this weekend in his battle with Kevin Holland, which again has us asking questions. Who's the guy, you know, next to beat Khamzat Chimaev? Who's the guy, you know, that's next to fight Khamzat Chimaev? And what it's looking like right now, what it's sounding like right now, you know, what I'm getting and what I'm hearing is that, you know, it's going to be Colby Covington. Now, do we think Colby Covington has a chance to beat Khamzat Chimaev? You know what I mean? That's why we're here. That's what we're here to talk about now. Me personally, right, I do give Colby Covington a chance to beat Khamzat Chimaev. Colby Covington is a good wrestler, a great wrestler, right? One of the better wrestlers in the game. He has an improved striking game. Him and Khamzat Chimaev, both, you know, are ground first kind of guys, right? They are guys who has added striking to their resume, but both guys are ground first type of guys. Khamzat Chimaev right now, he's seen as, you know, an indestructible force in the UFC. And right now, not many names are coming up as the next opponent. What's good, Poundland employee? Poundland employee, can you do your boy a favor? Hey, I know what your name means too, Poundland. Poundland, can you do your boy a favor? Can you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel? Don't know if you are here for a good time or a long time, but if you could, do your boy a favor. Smash that like button for your boy. But yeah, so the name that's constantly coming up it's Kobe Covington, right? You know what I mean? But I want to throw another name out there, right? And this name isn't coming up as much. This name isn't coming up as much as a Kobe Covington, right? But I would like to throw a name in the pot. What's good, Ghost? Appreciate you sliding through this, young Ghost. Glad you can make it. But I want to throw, another name in this pot. Yeah. I want to throw another name in this pot. Let me find out. Poundland in here being weird. Well, y'all got the wrenches. Y'all know what's up. I'll just say y'all got the wrenches. Y'all know what's up. But I want to throw a name in the pot, right? That not many people are necessarily. I want to throw a name in the pot that not many people are necessarily, talking about. And I think, I know. I figured, Carl. I figured it was Pigeon, Carl. I want to throw a name in the pot that people aren't necessarily talking about, but I think more people, should be talking about. Kobe Covington is the popular name, right? But I want to throw a name in there, and this name that I'm throwing in, and this why I'm throwing this name in here, right? Because right after Khamzat Chimaev's fight, this guy, he decided to throw his own name in there as well. Now, it's not a name that's coming up a lot, but it is a name that you think would come up a little more. You know what I mean? What's good, Just Do? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Glad you can make it. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Again, y'all, I ain't going to be here that long, but I just want to, have this MMA conversation real quick. It's looking like Kobe Covington is the name that's being thrown around for Khamzat Chimaev's next fight. That's not a bad fight at all, right? I don't think that's a bad fight at all. But I got a suggestion. I got one suggestion. I suggest, right, that Gilbert Burns, gets his rematch versus Khamzat Chimaev, right? Gilbert Burns, 36 years old, 20 wins, 5 losses, 5'10", 170 pounds. His last fight was against Khamzat Chimaev. He ended up, getting a unanimous decision loss to Khamzat Chimaev. But any and everybody who watched that fight, right? And you don't have to take my opinion for it, right? Because this is not my opinion that I'm about to give you, right? Punch stats showed that Gilbert Burns, landed more significant strikes, landed more total strikes, right? The punch stats, the fight stats showed that Gilberto Burns, although not by much, right? He won the control time battle. Now, normally, this is not me having no opinion, nothing like that. Now, normally when a guy wins the strike battle, and normally when a guy wins the control time, he wins the fight. When they win both, not often, does a fighter lose. And anybody who claimed that they know MMA, anybody who claimed that they know the sport, right? I guarantee you, anybody who claimed that they know the sport, they couldn't tell you too many times where a fighter loses striking and a fighter loses ground control and he gets the W, let alone the unanimous decision win, in the fight. Now, I know it's a lot of fanboys. It's fanboys everywhere. You get what I'm saying? Me personally, don't none of these people pay my bills. Don't make me know what happened to them or not, right? But not often does a fighter lose the ground, lose the control time. Not often does a fighter lose the striking battle as well, gets dropped in the fight. Burns dropped Khamzat in his fight. You know what I mean? Not often does a fighter get dropped, lose the striking battle, and lose the ground control battle and still win the fight. And he won that fight unanimously. You know what I mean? So I personally, feel like in the world where people, claim, nobody really wants to fight Khamzat, you got Gilbert Burns who's asking to fight Khamzat every other week. You know what I mean? He pretty much asking to fight Khamzat every other week, right? So if Kobe Covington, right? Kobe Covington is probably going to be the fight, right? Khamzat. Kobe Covington is probably going to be the next fight for Khamzat. That's looking like the juicy fight. That's looking like the fight to make, right? That's looking like the fight. That's looking like the fight that the MMA world is leaning towards, right? That's what I'm hearing. Like I didn't check multiple, multiple credible MMA sites, multiple credible, MMA bloggers, MMA journalists, and everybody pretty much has the same name in the mouth, and the name is Colby Covington. Again, I'm not against this fight at all. I think Colby Covington is a formidable opponent for Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think this is going to be a guy that comes out right. Colby Covington, right? He's a good name right now. He's a hot name right now, right? Because we're guessing that Khamzat Chimaev shouldn't, right? He shouldn't. Not saying that he can't or he ain't, right? But we're guessing that he shouldn't be able to come out here and just, steamroll Colby Covington like he does a lot of people. Like in their last fight with in Khamzat's last fight with his last fight with Kevin Holland, right? We Kevin Holland has a nice fan base, right? We got excited for that fight. The whole world got excited for that fight. A lot of people got excited for that fight. Those guys had prior beef, right? So they had a history. So, we were able to get excited for that fight. But on the whole, right, in actuality, no one really expected Kevin Holland to win that fight. We wanted Kevin to win, right? The fight pretty much went how we expected. Kevin Holland had a chance to win that fight against Khamzat Chimaev, right? If Khamzat Chimaev, he did a little bit of what he did with Gilbert Burns, right? Khamzat obliged Gilbert Burns in a striking match. And I think that allowed Gilbert Burns, to drop him and gain the edge, in that. So in this fight, I kind of expected Khamzat, to not chance it. I expected him to come in and get right to business. And that's exactly what Khamzat Chimaev did, in this fight versus Kevin Holland. He came right in. He took Kevin to the mat. And, it was what it was. It's like as soon as the bell rung, right, my guy, We Talk Sports, said something that was hella interesting. I thought that was really unique on what he said. He said it's almost like the fight started, right? He said it's almost like the fight started, right? And, Khamzat Chimaev was submitting Kevin Holland from, the opening bell until Kevin Holland tapped out, because there was almost no. Like, this man right here, weird. That pigeon dude is weird. There was almost no, punches thrown in that fight. I think it may have been a total of like 6 fights, to happen total. 6 punches thrown total in that fight, right? It was a bit underwhelming, but it did go as expected, right? So, again, we looking for the next opponent for Khamzat Chimaev. It's looking like it's going to be, Colby Covington, right? That's the word. That's the feel around, MMA. And I have zero problem with that, truthfully, at all. I have zero problem with it. I have zero problem with it. But I think an even better opponent for Khamzat, right? If you're asking me personally, I think, Colby Covington is a great choice. Right, I most definitely will watch the fight, Khamzat versus Colby Covington. Have no problem with it. But if you asking me, right, I would most definitely, if I had my pick, right, if Southern T had his way, I would be picking, Gilbert Burns. I would pick, Gilbert Burns. Most definitely would take the Colby Covington fight with no problem. But I personally would like to see Khamzat and Gilbert Burns run it back. No matter how you feel, whether you're a fan of Khamzat or, you a hater of Gilbert Burns, right? Either way, however you feel on it, you can, at least you could say that fight was competitive. You could at least say that it's worth a run back, right? When the guy, normally, gets the knockdown, when he wins control time, wins the striking battle, he normally wins. So we could at least say that fight was competitive enough to where we would want to see it again. So my first option would be, Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat. But if Colby Covington is to come down the line for Khamzat Chimaev, I absolutely have no problem with that. early in this fight. I'm not gonna make a pick yet. Not gonna tell you who I'm hedging right. But of course, Khamzat Chimaev will come in the favorite in this fight. Now again, I believe it will come down to a wrestling match, basically pretty much between Kobe and Khamzat. But then again, Khamzat might get into one of his getting to one of his zones like he did with Gilbert and want to throw punches. You know what I mean? But I personally feel like Khamzat is a better striker than Kobe Covington. You know what I mean? As well, type deal. Not a much better striker, right? But I do think he's a slightly better striker. The ground game, I think, is about even. To be real, I think it's about even. There's not too many people I can just come out and say, oh, well, yeah, his ground game is 10 times better than Kobe Covington. Because I don't think that it's 10 people out here, that many people out here whose grind game is better than Kobe Covington. What's good, Shola Khan? Shola Khan said Khamzat have to get him under 3. If he don't, Cole's pace and cardio going to take over. Well, I like, of course, that's the thing with Khamzat, right? That's the thing with Khamzat, his gas tank, and how long he can last, right? Type deal, how long he lasts. That will be the question, with Khamzat. I would agree with you. He'll have to get him in under 3 type deal because it will be a hell of a pace, especially when you get 2 wrestlers. You get 2 predominantly, ground guys. The pace normally is extremely high type deal. But if Kobe Covington is next in line for Khamzat Chimaev, you know what I mean, I'm all for it. I would much rather see, even though we've seen it before, right? Even though we've seen it before, I think it was competitive enough to where I think they should run it back, right? Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev. So that's the one that I'll be pushing for. Most definitely would watch the Kobe Covington fight. Kobe Covington's last couple of losses are only to, Kamaru Usman, who just lost to Leon Edwards. So why not get Kobe Covington back in the ring with Khamzat, put it on pay-per-view. I'll be there for it. But that's all I got. I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long. Skinny Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.